Hello, everyone. It's Drop Frames Game of the Year time. Also, it's the first show of 2019. Did you guys know it's 2019 yet? Co, put that box away. Jesus.
Sorry.
What was that box?
Can we get the guy to clear the props?
Yeah, get the box out of there. Oh.
This is that Xbox One X that Bethesda sent me.
Co, you can't put the
76.
biggest disappointment's not there yet. We're not there yet. All right, you got to put the box. Jesus, you're like blowing it.
It's really funny because people were like, "Oh man, Co got bought by Bethesda. They sent him an Xbox One X." I was like, "Yeah, they really bought me with that one, didn't they?"
They got you.
And you can tell how I've just been singing the praises of 76. Whoo! Oh
Yeah.
man,
They got you. They got you.
that was a great investment.
Well, if that's all it takes, man. I got like, I honestly, I am not kidding you. I have two. I gotta show you this. I got two. I won't. Holding up my monitor.
Oh God.
They're like the stand on which my. You know what? I can't do it. It's not long enough cord. But there's two Xbox One X boxes.
That's your monitor stand?
Holding up my monitor over here to make it level with my desk.
Jesus.
So if that's all it takes, I could buy you 2 times over.
Jesus. Microsoft
Oh.
is I guess we could just kiss that sponsorship away this year.
Well, the thing is with those, both of those were from St. Jude rewards past.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, they do that like every year. They have like the prize giving season. It's
Yeah.
like, if you raise this much money, we'll send you a fucking chair. Here's an Xbox, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the unfortunate side effect is I can actually one up you because I think we have 6 Xbox One X's in this house. Because Aaron actually collects the controllers, the like 360 or I guess Xbox controllers, the different types. There's like 50 types over there on our wall. So they also just send her the Xboxes. So we've got a bunch of Xbox One X's just scattered around. We use them for Blu-ray players, for entertainment centers.
Oh, the
They're-
Netflix one.
yeah, it's great. They're great. So yeah, we've got.
Wait a
I
second.
think we've
Wait a
got
second.
6.
She collects Xbox controllers.
Yeah. So she's got like this is the normal ass Elite, but she's got this Elite, which is the white Elite, which I've been using. She's got the Player Unknown controller. There's like I don't know how many skins are over there, but she's got like 30 or 40 Xbox skins on her wall.
I'm
Xbox controller skins on her wall.
not allowed to buy another Elite. I can't.
Did you break it?
I've broken 2 of them.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I've told myself I'm not allowed to buy expensive controllers anymore because I know myself better than that.
That's a smart decision. Yeah. Both for yourself and for your stream.
That's why I didn't buy expensive keyboards for years of my life. I used to work at a computer place, and I could get these little cheapy, like Taiwanese keyboards for $4 a pop.
Oh God.
So I would just buy them in stacks of like 10 and keep them by my computer. And then I'd be playing like Battlefield 2142 and just have a horrible round. I would just like lift up the side and just slam my hand right down in the middle and see those little keys go everywhere. Extremely cathartic.
Yeah. I bet.
And then I just throw it off to the side, put in a new keyboard, and we were good to go.
Can you give me after like during the break or something? Can you give me the website for that? I mean, that'd be.
Did you get a sponsorship from
Absolutely
the
can.
Taiwanese keyboard company, Zeke?
10 keyboards
I
a
mean,
week
that'd be great.
delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like pulling out another Kleenex. Just like, let me get another keyboard.
That's what
here,
you need,
put it down.
Zeke. You got to find one of those
Crumble it up, throw it
monthly
away.
subscription platforms for keyboards, and they'll just send you a new keyboard once a month. It'll be great.
Yeah.
If not, you can start that whole business. Yeah. For Rangers.
I haven't. Yeah, honestly, I haven't smashed anything on my broadcast in months. Literally months. I
has
haven't
been a
broken
while.
anything. It's. I don't know. Maybe the games I've been playing have not been like
Getting old, Zeke.
rage
old.
worthy. I came close.
Mellowing out.
I don't know, man. I came close playing blackjack.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can recall a couple of moments. Yeah. Anyways,
That'll do it.
I think it's because I've become smarter because I realize how much of a hassle it is, and I've burned through most of my backup peripherals, like because I had like a whole bunch of them, and now I have like a I have like a cardboard box filled with different peripherals like controllers and mice and stuff that work, but it's like the bumper, it doesn't work, or like the D-pad on the controller doesn't work. So they work, but they not 100%. It's like they're limping a little bit.
Sense. Well, it's a new year, Zeke. I mean, if you want to go back to breaking stuff, by all means. All right.
So Zeke, what's this about breaking a nice Razer keyboard and microphone stand during Blackjack recently?
Oh, he did. Did you break that microphone stand? I do remember that.
No, it's serviceable. See, the thing is, like, I didn't break it. I just have to use an implement to keep it together.
No, wait, let me get this straight. I didn't break it. It just doesn't work anymore unless I do other stuff to it.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
it's just I broke a bolt, or
so
something on it. Well, I mean, it's misplaced. It works fine.
Jesus.
It's misplaced in various places, not on the unit.
Yeah, he shouldn't have plugged it in.
You know what? I don't even know how we got on this topic.
I don't know. You brought it up. You brought it up. We don't have anything else to talk about. This is just an intervention for the next 4 hours.
You brought up controllers, and that was you that did that.
Maybe so.
Okay. Anyways, how was your New Year's, guys?
It was great. It was great. I had a great time watching Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve, the most depressing thing year after year. It's still a great, depressing program.
What, dude? I played Rocket League.
I saw you playing Rock. I thought about jumping in when I was watching your stream for a little while.
Awesome. I was watching. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I started playing Hades, which is a really cool game from Supergiant, makers of we'll talk about that another time.
Sure.
But and then I decided, I just 20 minutes in, I was like, you know what? No, I it's New Year's. Like, let's play with you guys. Like, what's a game? Rocket League. Let's play Rocket League.
Yeah.
I just fired it up, and we did private games with subs, and we just it was so much fun. Like, it kind of surprised me how just that game just doesn't age. It's always fun to play.
It's always
even
good.
if you suck, it's still fun to play, which is good. But yeah, so it was good, man. It was really good.
Yeah.
Good New Year. What did you do, Zeke?
Yeah, what'd you do, Zeke?
Honestly, I streamed that day, the 31st, New Year's Eve, and I got done around say 8 or 9 my time, and I drank most of the day, and
As you do.
Yeah. And then I looked outside and I went, this is garbage. Because I had planned on meeting my friend out at his particular bar, the one he runs and works at. And I texted him and I said, so you at work? And he goes, nah, man, it's my son's first birthday. And I went, oh, that's right. You have a New Year's Eve baby. I forgot. So he's like, nah, I'm not working. I'm celebrating my birthday with my kid. And I went, well, fuck. Now what do I do? Well, I kind of went into the bedroom and laid down and passed the fuck out.
I've done that
until
before.
2 a.m.
Yeah,
missed it. Totally missed New Year's.
I've done that. Just means we're getting old. That's all that means. I've
done that
before.
already multiple times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. It's who cares? It's a thing that doesn't matter at all.
I think Dan tweeted that out like that night too. It was like, well, I could stay up to New Year's, or I could go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Yep.
See you guys in the morning.
Yep. We thought about it, but then I started watching Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve, and man, what a shit show that thing was. Just it's great.
Oh man, speaking of shit shows, I caught some of the Ninja Year event.
Really?
Yeah, I was wondering if someone was going to bring that up because I never, I tweeted out some jokes about it, but I never actually even tuned in.
I didn't
because
either.
I tweeted out like I was house sitting for him while he was doing his
his
New Year's Eve
watch
party
it?
thing.
Did you watch it, Co?
I dropped in a couple times, just popped it on the screen to like see what was going on.
Yeah.
And it seemed relatively tame. Like a lot of the times they were just like playing Fortnite and messing around. There was definitely a few weird parts. And then afterward, multiple viewers sent me a clip of apparently this section where he tried to get the audience to floss, which is one of the dances.
Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't go that well, we'll say.
There comes a point where it doesn't matter how successful someone is. You watch something occur to them, and you can't help but feel like this terrible. Like it was to know how many people saw that happen. Oh, oof. The only thing I can think is oof.
Yeah.
Like oh.
I love that that's
Which
the thing
one
that
is
went
the
viral.
floss? Is the floss the one that you go
Floss
like
is the two hands.
over under? Yeah, okay, okay. That's what I thought.
And again, here's the thing. This is not me talking badly about Ninja. It's just the entire situation that somebody gave him a shit ton of money to try to get Times Squares to do this dance. It's raining. It's cold. He's like on this podium in front of hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there doing this dance, and nobody's moving. Nobody. And he's like trying to amp up the crowd, and he's doing everything he can do, but like there was a complete disconnect.
There
a
was.
complete disconnect.
It's a weird thing.
And again, it wasn't his fault. It was just like, it was really like.
Probably the reason those people didn't want to floss is because they were all wearing adult diapers and they didn't want to like move the proper direction without something just like going down the right leg, you know? So you got to be.
Why would they be wearing adult diapers?
Oh, that's a story that came out. So the people that actually are in there can't move or leave that area for 12 hours for security reasons. So people that go and like stand in New Year's Times Square, the New Year's Eve thing, they wear adult diapers down there. So they don't have to like, you know, piss their pants.
Right.
So
sure.
Yeah.
I get you.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. That was my immediate like. Is it because they can't leave
for security purposes?
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was because they were Fortnite.
Nice. I like it. Let's end that segment with that. It's good. I like that.
No, the way you describe that, like him trying to do that, reminds me of like at like E3, like game reveals or something. It's like they reveal the price, like, and the price is $4.99, and the crowd just like,
yeah, you hear
that's not
that's
good.
it.
Like, we're not gonna give you any, like, you get nothing. You're like,
yeah,
like 3 people like scattered throughout.
Yeah, it's worth it to watch the clip though, at least once though. It's pretty good stuff. Anyways, we got a bunch of stuff to do, so we should probably start talking about game of the year stuff.
I forgot.
Yeah, this
we're
is not
doing
a normal
a show.
show.
Oh, we're
got a
doing
bunch.
game of the year stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, we got a lot. I will say the last hashtag ad. If you want to listen to us on iTunes or Spotify or anything like that, you can grab the MP3 versions of the show. There, just search Drop Frames, one word, no space. And we should be on every platform where MP3s are available. So go grab it if you want. Let me just go over here. We'll just start this thing. So we have an order to this. Also, let's just get this out of the way before we jump to any list. These are personal lists. These are personal picks. We are not critics. These are just how we feel about the games we played in the past year. So don't keyboard warrior too hard on us. Unless there's some Fallout 76 in a top 10 list, then you, by all means. Just
what?
I mean, I put it as 5. That's not too bad,
okay,
right?
all right.
But anyway, to go into that also, it's important to mention that I think I speak for most of us when I say that a lot of these top 10s are structured by games we enjoyed, not necessarily like in order of, like the best games out there,
right?
But it's just like games that we really thought were something special to us. So, when you don't see like Red Dead and God of War at the top of all of our lists, just understand it's because we have varying tastes and we enjoy different things.
Yeah. See?
And there's a reason why it's called favorite and not best. Like, these are our favorite games of the year.
Our top 10
and not
favorite games
necessarily the best games of the year.
Exactly.
Sometimes they coincide, but usually not.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into it. We've got a lot. We're going to start with biggest disappointment, because why not, right?
Oh, are we? Okay.
Yeah, we're starting biggest disappointment.
Just get it out of the way early.
Well, geez, they're going to start off with a bang. All right.
Yeah. Zeke, why don't you go first with biggest disappointment?
No. I don't want to go first.
All right,
I don't
Co, why don't you go first with biggest?
Don't start the audience off hating me.
Co, you're first. What's your biggest disappointment of 2018?
I think that for most of you that know me, I think you guys probably all know my biggest disappointment. I came into this title with very high expectations. I really wanted something special out of it, and what I got was a poorly designed cash grab that really not only made me lose faith in that franchise, but also a lot of the company that made it. My biggest disappointment of 2018 was Fallout 76.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Was something supposed to happen when I said that?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, there we go.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. There was a little bit of a hiccup there, but we got it. We figured it out. We're
Okay.
good. We're
But
good.
yeah, my biggest disappointment was Fallout 76. Not only was it because that it was sold as a fully priced product, not only because they had a beta, which they then completely ignored any feedback from. Not only was it because it released with dupe exploits, XP exploits, a completely terrible PvP system, but then the worst part about all of it was the fact that they then didn't patch it or try to fix it in any kind of a speedy manner. They didn't put the fixes in the order that anyone would have requested them, and they still have the gall to put $18 power armor skins on their store. It's just, again, it's the biggest disappointment of 2018.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
There you go.
Short and sweet.
It seemed like a unanimous choice for a lot of people, and it's not. I'll just tell you right now, it's not my biggest disappointment because
it's not mine either.
I wasn't anticipating it. Like I wasn't like expecting to like it. And that's what I think is, and you were, because you're a huge, Fallout, Bethesda, blah, blah, blah. I was like, after Fallout 4, I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna expect as much out of the Fallout franchise as I did previously. So that's why it didn't make my list or my choice or whatever.
Yeah. What did?
See, now I'm very interested to know what you guys are.
Is it my turn?
I think you'll go. Yeah, I'll go last here. Then I'll go. We'll ping pong back and forth. So I'll go last here and then go first on the next one.
Sounds good. My biggest disappointment of 2018, and it's the reason why same thing, same reason why Breath of the Wild was my biggest disappointment last year. Not because it's bad, but because I wanted it. I expected so much, and I was let down because I didn't like it. My biggest disappointment: Red Dead Redemption 2.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
I wanted to love it.
Please
wanted
direct
to love it
all
so
tweets
much.
to
I was like,
look at them. I'm gonna do it.
Ezekiel _ No, look.
Listen.
I don't blame you, man.
I hope you understand the difference between being disappointed and thinking something's a bad game.
Sure.
There's nothing about this that screams like the smacks of bad game. I was disappointed in it because I wanted to love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is going to like get me and hold me, and I'm gonna want to play this like the entire way through.
Mm-hmm.
And how slow it was, and how I think that was the biggest thing that made me not want to keep playing it, was how the pacing did not it was not conducive for my short attention span. Yeah. I wanted to play it faster. I wanted to be like less of a meandering story, and I just
so
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, like the horse travel, the walking, the running, and all that kind of shit. Like there's no cars. There's the fast travel comes later, and all this kind of stuff. And even the two, because I played it for, I want to say like two full broadcasts, so like 16 hours, which I think is enough time for me to like get a taste of what the game is.
I would say.
And the story itself didn't grab me either. Like all of those hours that I spent, the story didn't like reach out and was like, here's something interesting. It's like, it's just an Old West story.
Yeah.
And I like the Old West.
Here's what I think about Red Dead 2.
It needs to have something extra.
And I saw this echoed a little bit on Twitter from some other streamers, but Aaron's actually been playing Red Dead 2 upstairs on like our 4K TV with the lights off, with like surround sound. It is a better game when you're not streaming it. Without a doubt.
Maybe so. Yeah, maybe
because
so.
you can get fully immersed in like everything in that world. When you're like, first of all, that game's fucking gorgeous in 4K. One of the best looking games of the year, without a doubt. But I think it's just, as a streamer, that's a really hard game to not be bored about. And because you want the like open world shenanigans to happen, and they'll happen every once in a while. But after you've seen a horse run into something, or you hit a tree for the 1,000th time, it's like, well, that gag's over. Let's see what the actual game's about. So I feel like it's not necessarily the best game to stream, which is probably why I had the biggest issue with it.
And that is a extremely good point.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have liked this game a lot more if I wasn't feeling the need to entertain people in a more quick fashion, like I'm used to.
Right.
It just, I could see myself like laying on my bed with my big screen, just kind of hanging out, going from place to place, meandering and all that kind of stuff. I could see myself enjoying like a lazy afternoon playing Red Dead and just wandering around. It could have definitely been tainted by streaming because of the slow nature, the slow pace of it. So that is true. Yeah. However, I would like to reiterate one more time.
Please
for those in the back who aren't getting it yet, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying I wanted to love it so much more than I did.
Sure. I get it.
That's why it was disappointing.
Understandable.
Zeke hates RDR2.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I think it's a bad game and you're trash if you like it.
So, and I'm going to talk about myself in the third person here. In popular JP fashion, I bent the rules a little bit here. My biggest disappointment this year was not a game, but rather an event. Where year after year, I watch this set event. I think a lot of people do, and expect to see. I don't want to say greatness, but they expect to see something that they're fucking like super unbelievably hyped about from this particular company. And this year, BlizzCon just didn't fucking bring it, man. They shouldn't have had a convention. They didn't have anything. And then they fucked it all up with Diablo Immortal. And that was just a giant failure across so many different instances.
Time out.
Yeah.
Do you not have a phone?
I know. I guess maybe that's the one thing that was good about this is the memes. The memes were just ripe from BlizzCon 2018.
Phone?
Yeah. Do you have a phone, Zeke?
Phone?
Yeah. So for me, man,
that's a Persona meme. I apologize.
Oh. Anyways, yeah.
Don't cross the memes, Zeke.
Yeah, don't cross the memes. You never want to cross the memes. It's just bad.
I thought you said crossing the memes was bad.
Yeah, it was a bad event, man. I much like Co with Bethesda, this might be the one year where the Blizzard fanboy in me is not there. Like they're gonna have to do some crazy shit to win me back, because there's nothing on the horizon coming out from Blizzard that
exactly how I feel about Bethesda, for the record.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better.
There's nothing on the horizon where I'm just like, man, that looks pretty good from Blizzard. It's just kind of like, fuck, they just don't have anything exciting right now. Like Warcraft 3 Remastered, I think could be something that could be said there, but apart from that, it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of lackluster.
Man, I just realized it's a terrible year for people that loved Bethesda and Blizzard.
Without a doubt.
This is like a soul-crushing year for fans of both of those. Like, oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
What? Excuse me. Was a soul-crushing year. Not is. Was. It's over. Yay.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
The bad news keeps coming too. Like yesterday, I think Activision Blizzard lost their CFO to Netflix. I think that hit like the wire at like 12:30 a.m. on January 1st or something like that. So it's going to be a rough year, I think, for Blizzard fans. But we'll see. We'll see what they come out with. So that's our biggest disappointments there of 2018 for the three of us. And now for the big thing is this going to actually work? Oh my God, it worked. Okay.
Oh, fade out.
So we go from biggest disappointment to favorite frown upside down. Parentheses. This is Zeke's title. All right. We just let this happen because Zeke decided.
I just like said it like it was just a side comment, and you're like, that's it. From now on, that's what it will be. And now I get the honor of having titled this, I suppose.
Dude, the best part about this was I tweeted out on like the 28th or something. I go, Guys, what the fuck is the favorite frown upside down mean? And everyone was like, dude, you made this title. What do you mean you don't understand what it is? I had to figure out what this actually meant.
I actually loved this category because it let me put a game on my list that I wasn't able to. So thank you, Zeke. Like it was I can't wait to talk about it a little bit more. But anyway, who we start with?
Okay.
I'll go first since I went last on the last one. This one for me was actually kind of a hard category, and so I went with the easy one. I think the one that maybe most people would throw into this particular category. So
Maybe describe the title for the viewers who don't know.
Oh, okay. Favorite frown upside down is like the favorite upswing, the favorite good story or feel good story to come out of the year. Comeback, yeah. Kind of all encompassing in that. So if something sucked in years past and they did something new this year, or something sucked earlier this year and they ended up patching it and it was a big comeback, that's kind of what we're talking about. Right?
Yeah. Something that like tripped coming out of the starting gate, but got back on its feet and caught up again.
Yeah. Also, I should point out, because I haven't done this yet, Daniel made all these graphics, and I don't know any of the picks for the other two. So this is, and they don't know the picks for me. This is all kind of we're in the blind, so to speak, moving forward. So for me, the biggest favorite frown upside down of 2018, that's Zeke's title. It's the easy one. It's No Man's Sky. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be No Man's Sky? That was the first one that came to mind, and not much else did, which is why I'm curious to see what you guys went with here. But here's the thing with No Man's Sky. I lasted 30 minutes in the first release, whenever that was, and I got a refund on the game from Steam. This one actually got me, when me and Zeke joined Co to play it, and I think we ended up playing for like 2 hours or something like that, so I couldn't refund it. I actually couldn't refund the game. But I didn't want to because I actually enjoyed it, and I think they did a pretty good job of making this a... I don't want to get into the whole like what they set out for it to be, because that's a whole topic that I don't really care too much about. But
different topic, most importantly.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's got a positive vibe to it now. It's not what they released it in. They definitely went back and figured stuff out. And the cool part was that they didn't come out and be like, I told you so. They just kind of put it out there, and everyone was like, oh shit, this is actually a pretty good game. This is actually pretty good. So those are my... For
the record, for anyone wondering in chat, I actually put 4 or 5 days into the No Man's Sky update, and it has gone from a collection of half-finished features to a relatively finished game. Like it's almost like 2 different products in terms of what you can do in it now compared to when it released. And just like JP said, think about what you want on the release. The point is they stuck with it, and they didn't have to. They could have just gone. Many companies drop a failure and then they just go on to the next game so they can get more cash out of it. It's not what the No Man's Sky guys did, and you got to give them credit where it's due.
Without a doubt.
And it's still being updated.
It is. Yeah, they're still pushing stuff. And they also announced a new game this year, a smaller game, which was at the Game Awards in the name. I think it was called The Last Bonfire was the name of the game that they're working on. Chat might correct me on that. But I think that's it. Let's just, I guess, keep going down the thing here. Co, you're next, which means, that means Co will never actually go first on a list. Zeke, why don't you go, and then we'll let Co go last.
Okay, sure.
We'll mix it up.
Yeah, mine's real short. Mine's real short, anyways, because it was a tough category for me because I don't really pay attention to things that are shit right away or whatever. All the hype shit I play later and that kind of stuff, because my channel needs time between like it first coming out and then I can play it without losing half of my viewers and shit.
Yeah.
But this one came out and it was kind of like a bug fest mess kind of a thing, and then they had to patch it and shit. My biggest frown upside down was Bard's Tale.
Oh, okay.
It came out to a lot of like complaints about how it worked and how it functioned and shit like that. And then by the time I got around to it, it was a very, very, very fun experience. I had so much fun playing it. It was definitely right up my alley as far as the game goes. The music was fantastic. The gameplay was great. I didn't experience almost any bugs at all. No crashes, no nothing. But from what I gather, it started off like just nightmare level glitches and all that kind of shit. And by the time I got it, it was just a wonderful piece of game. So that's mine. And there you go. Like, cause I like No Man's Sky is an obvious choice. There's probably a couple of others that are obvious choices that I don't play. So this is my choice.
I'm realizing
also
now.
Good time to give a huge shout out to In Exile, the devs of Bard's Tale, who when the game released, they then went into overdrive, fixing pretty much every problem the game had. Like it released, I played it on the first day. It was rough. Like it felt like an unfinished game.
Yeah.
Mere weeks later, like they had released 4 or 5 patches at that point. We need more devs like that.
Yeah. I'm quickly realizing the reason why this category was difficult for me is because I wouldn't play a bad game because I would watch a stream of it first, and if there were issues, I'd be like, nah, I'm all right. And so I didn't have any like Frown Upside Down stories apart from No Man's Sky. I didn't play Bard's Tale 4 at all. I didn't touch it. I watched streams of it, but it's just not my type of game. So that might have been why this category was tough for me. But
yeah, it's a tough category in and of itself because I'm sure a lot of people, JP is one of those kind of people that if you play a game and it's a glitch shit fest, you're like, well, I'm never picking that up again.
I thought you were going to meme it and just be like, if you're like one of those people like JP that just hates games, you won't play them.
No, this is the end of the year show. I'm serious. I'm being real serious.
Okay. Right, all right. We're in serious mode. No memes.
I'm serious.
No memes.
I'm serious for now.
I like how I memed myself there. Coke, what's your favorite Frown Upside Down to 2018?
Okay. This is not a game that made my top 10 list. It didn't even make my top 5 of fun game stream to play. But this game, there were numerous times that I just had a huge smile on my face. I really adored the presentation at times. I think the game tried to do some really great things, but unfortunately there was a rather hard left turn during the development cycle that caused some issues, but they still kind of managed to pull it out. And at the end of the playthrough, even though it was kind of rough at times, I left the game smiling and had a great time with it. My favorite Frown Upside Down was We Happy Few.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm glad this isn't on your top 10.
A little bit rough. It was the reason it's not on my top 10 was because of some of the reasons that I mentioned.
Yeah.
The game started as one thing and became something different. And granted, the devs did a good job. It was still a little bit heavy-handed how they did it. The story was pretty fun. A lot of people didn't even finish the game because of the problems it had, but I mean, I did and I liked it. The stealth mechanics were pretty cool. At the end of the day, not really a game that I think deserves quite like a top 10 mention, but it was a damn good game. And there were many times during the playthrough that I was just like, this is just fun or awesome. Like some of the dancing stuff and the music and the dialogue was sometimes really funny. Some of the characters were just great. It was just a pretty fun game to play when it worked. So that was my favorite Frown Upside Down.
This actually illustrates my point that I was making with JP. This is one of those games that I played, and when it was like in beta or whatever, and I played it and I went, wow, this game is not even close to what I expected nor what I wanted. I'm not having fun. Fuck this game. And I never went back.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do that. I mean, I do it too.
I'm also realizing my issue is that I'll watch a stream of a game and that's my like tryout period. I never just jump into a game blindly unless I know I'm going to enjoy it. So I watched Co play this game for about 20 minutes and I was like, what? I would never touch this with a 10-foot fucking pole. I'm good. Fuck We Happy Few. So maybe that's what I should do this year is just jump into games without watching any streams or anything. It'd probably be a more fun experience. But then people would be like, man, you're so negative. You just shit on everything.
Happen in a game to hook you.
Right.
That's what happened with me with We Happy Few. Like if you can find a few things you like, then those can carry you to the rest of the things you like. But to be fair, like Zeke said, when this game first released, it was a mess. Even in its final form, it's still arguably pretty messy. It just has some real good hidden gem stuff in it.
Makes sense. It makes sense. All right, those are our favorite Frowns Upside Down of 2018, and now we go to a category that I think we'll start to have some conversations here, at least in chat. I think Zeke already took his punches from chat. I'll probably take some punches here. This is the favorite music / soundtrack of 2018.
Why do you think we take punches on this one?
I will. I'm not saying you guys will. I will.
Okay. JP, you know what?
What's that?
I think we might might come together on this. We'll see.
Okay. All right.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Co, you want to start us out?
Sure. There were a lot of great games with great soundtracks this year. A lot of them I really enjoyed. But for me, one of them stood out. And it's not only because the quality of the music was exceptional, but it was because I knew that playing this particular game was the only place that I was going to hear it. And not only that, I knew that the people that made this game put a huge amount of love and care into not only selecting it, but in some cases even helping with its creation. My favorite music and soundtrack this year was Bard's Tale 4.
Okay.
There were so many times in this game when I just stopped and listened to the music or commented on how good it was. There are just violin solos in some cases, sometimes just a single woman singing for like minutes at a time. And it is beautiful. And it's not really often I can say that about a video game, that it has beautiful music. Bard's Tale 4 has beautiful music. It's to the point where I actually was extremely honored because Brian Fargo, who was the person that made this game, actually sent me an email and invited me to Ireland to watch the music performed live.
Jesus.
And they unfortunately had to turn it down. But they not only were behind it, but it is now like a thing. Like they're touring with a lot of the music now that's out of this game. Just to give you an example of how quality it is. And yeah, I mean, it if you haven't heard the music from Bard's Tale 4 and you like kind of Gaelic vocal instrumental type music, like definitely check it out. It's really, really unique, and there's no other game that has music like it right now.
Okay. All right. Zeke, I'll go next. Because yeah, that makes sense. So for me, I think this is going to be an unpopular choice because when you think about everything around this game, the music is definitely the thing that people absolutely hated. There was even a patch that came out to. No, I'm fucking,
maybe we won't come together.
Fucking kidding. God of War had the best goddamn music. It's not Dragon Quest 11. You silly fucks. That's the worst goddamn music of the year. God of War had the best. 1, 2, 3, 4. God of War was the best. I can't even talk about it without getting chills just because when they debuted this game at E3, what was that, 2 years ago? And they had that live orchestra come out and play like the theme of God of War. I knew I was in. I knew I was hooked. And it started with the music for me. So I don't want to say anything else. God of War is best music. I think the theme of God of War is the best. I don't care about the rest of the soundtrack because the theme was so good that it totally encapsulates everything soundtrack music wise. So I'm now curious to see what Zeke chooses here.
No, I thought we'd meet like eye to eye. We'd be like,
I know where you're going.
Totally expected. Yeah.
I know where you're going.
Well, I'll just reveal it. My favorite music / soundtrack of the year, Tetris Effect.
I was going to do it.
Tetris Effect was fucking phenomenal. It was half of the game. That's the reason why it's not that I liked it the most.
Right.
It made the other half of the game. Half of the game was the VR and the gameplay and stuff, but the other half was the driving music. It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
So good.
It was between
now,
these
here's
two
the thing,
for me.
guys. Here's the thing. On the there were so many things that I had to go through to come up with what I thought was the best soundtrack. Grease had a great one, where the water tastes like wine, Celeste, Spider-Man. Like there was so many great soundtracks.
Yeah.
But this I thought was the best because Tetris Effect would not be half the game it is without that soundtrack. It is so good. And it's so phenomenally, it fits so phenomenally well with the game. It makes you want to play a fucking virtual reality Tetris game. And that's like, this was the toughest choice for me.
Yeah.
No shit. The toughest thing to nail down.
It was pretty difficult for me too.
Because the soundtracks vary so much. It's like trying to compare like country music and rap, like having, where the water tastes like wine with that soulful and like the blues and the all the different styles of music. Great soundtrack. Celeste, which is that super atmospheric music that fits the game and all that kind of stuff. But the deciding factor for me was what takes center stage or enhances the game the most. Tetris Effect.
Yeah.
And it's good too.
This was tough for me. It was between
choice?
Celeste, Tetris Effect, and God of War. But I went back to what was the first thing that came to my mind, and that was God of War. I agree with you though that Tetris Effect is like half of that game.
And Persona 5, for those you saying, that's 2017 game.
That's
2017.
That's last year.
That doesn't count.
I wish.
Yeah, that was last year.
Last year was a great year too.
Yeah, both to speak outside of the category, both this year and last year were amazing years for games, without a doubt. So, yeah, that was. I'm glad that you chose that, Zeke. I didn't. Now that you mention it, I didn't think that you would, but it makes total sense that you would. And now I see why you said.
No, man, when I was like, you gotta put the headset on. You gotta be in there. And I just gotta say, when that fire level hits and those guys like, you hit that one part, and it's like, and it's like driving beat, and they're like doing the worshiping and shit like that. It gives me chills just thinking about it.
See,
and no other soundtrack does that.
I gotta try that.
You need to try that game. Yes, you do, without a doubt. Yeah. Everyone needs to try that game. For me, the best song from Tetris Effect was the final level. Because the first time I don't know if you actually got there, but the first time it happened, I actually like had a tear start to like, and then I was like, "Fucking get back in there! You get back in there! I can't be doing this."
No.
Yeah. So like Tetris gave me that type of emotional reaction. God of War got me just fucking pumped to hear those goddamn drums start going and like the chanting and everything. And then Celeste was just like, "This is pleasant. This is a nice, pleasant experience." Because I didn't do any of the B or C side stuff, so I didn't hear that music, to be honest.
Well, I'll tell you what, my second place was Spider-Man. Just when you start swinging, like it's all quiet in New York and you're standing on the edge of a building. You throw out that first web and it's just swell until you're fucking swinging and the fucking orchestra's going. You feel like a fucking badass. Like it's so great. That was my second choice for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
What?
I think we're about to have a fight.
Nothing. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going. Good vibes. Everything. That's our favorite music soundtrack. We're gonna jump into favorite sound design, and this one was a little bit difficult here for me because
this was tough.
Zeke, what were you gonna say?
No, but this one, the difference between best soundtrack or best music and best sound design is sound design are the sounds that are not like musical within the game. They're not necessarily musical within the game. They're not songs.
Right.
Like, so explosions, the sound of a gun firing, like that kind of stuff is sound design.
All right. Well, you're starting us off, Zeke. So what's your favorite sound design of 2018?
It was a struggle, and I was thinking about it like, what did I like? Because there were times when I pointed out, I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Like, oh, that sounds pretty accurate. Like, and then I went, oh, I know what my favorite is. The best sound design, in my opinion, and I loved it so much. Choo-choo.
What?
That's right.
Oh, that's the name of the game?
Choo-choo is the name of the game, and the reason why
I legit thought he was making a sound effect.
No. Choo-choo is an indie game that I played, but it had this awesome sound design where they like it had like sound effects. It was like watching a cartoon. It was like these guys would talk like this, like, and then things would happen, like things would tip over, and they'd have like crashes and springy sounds and like wet sounds and stuff like that. It's a goofy, fucking absurd puzzle game.
Yeah. It's
so much fun. You can play it with anybody. Old, young, doesn't matter. It's not difficult. It's just charming as fuck. And the sound design in it is, I remembered it. Over any other game, it made me so unbelievably happy. And I laughed throughout that entire game because of the noises that were made and the stuff that, it made the game humorous and it made the game fun. So that was my sound design choice.
Sure.
I'm not an audio engineer, okay? I'm just saying what was what. Let me reiterate. This is my favorite, not necessarily the best,
Sure.
but it was my favorite.
From the sounds of it, it fits perfectly. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, and it was hilarious. Like you know how the Sims talk, right?
Yeah.
This was like that, but a little bit more like a monster. So it was like,
So Zeke, would you like to retract last year's favorite sound design? Because I believe Zelda did that first, and there's Zelda. Was that? Is this your redemption arc? Am I gonna have to change my favorite frown upside down?
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh,
All
man.
right.
Yeah, and by the way, all the people that are putting question marks in the chat, instead of putting question marks, why don't you go fucking check it out?
Yeah, go
look
game.
it up it's right on Steam.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give it a look. I will say it has mostly negative reviews recently.
Uh-oh.
And it's because they changed the main character. There was a whole big controversy about it.
Oh God.
They changed the main character. He wasn't orange. He looked like previously he looked like one of those soot things from the soot, like from the Miyazaki films.
Oh.
He looked like that, and they changed the color. So that's bad.
Okay.
Did someone try to say
they gave it negative reviews because they changed it?
Yeah, I'm
sure it was a racial thing. I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole backstory, but don't let the negative reviews fool you. This is a fucking fantastic, fun, charming game.
All right, that's Chuchel.
Yeah,
that's Chuchel. Ko, your favorite sound design of 2018?
Okay, this was a tough one for me. Like, it got to the point where I was actually going to my mod team, and I was like, do you guys remember any games being particularly good? Like, I didn't. There were no standout games that in my mind I could go, that's the sound. You know, like most of my categories was a standout. There wasn't really one for this one. But what I will say is that there was a game in particular that I enjoyed playing, and that I noticed that they went to great lengths to not only have great sound effects, but the timing was excellent. They synced up very well with what was going on in the game world and what was going on with the character. And I actually was reminded that I mentioned throughout the playthrough a couple times how much I was enjoying just how integrated all of the sound stuff was. One of the things I noticed was whenever you'd start moving, the music would pick up and do all sorts of fun things. That game was Spider-Man. That's why when Zeke said that, I was like, oh, that's exactly why I put that game for me.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man did a really good job. Like the game as a whole really impressed me. Like there were some great things about it. And I'm not a big Spider-Man or comic book fan. Just the game was really well made. And one of the things that made it really well made was the fact that they really paid painstaking attention to making the sound effects great, from shooting your webs to the combat, to the music timing, to the all the effects that you'd never hear in real life of all the machines and the evil people. They all sounded good, and the timing was excellent. It was just it was a great one. Yeah, the sound
makes sense.
So that's what I think.
Makes sense. For me, my favorite sound design was really about a game that didn't have sound in it, and they showed it at E3 I think like 2 years ago, and we all left wondering what the fuck it was. And then it came out this year, and it was probably one of the worst games ever, but it still had the best sound. I'm joking. God of War, once again, with the best sound design. It's not The Quiet Man. It's God of War. I have to do this because God of War is just... I'm sorry, but it's a really good game. No, for me, this was all about the combat. Like, I thought back to the combat, and I thought about how just, like, I can hear that axe whirling from the fucking... wherever it's at in the abyss, and I could just hear it like flying back to me and then just catching it, and I'm like, oh, that whole thing. And the combat, everything, when you're punching people, it sounds fucking amazing. When he shoots his bow, it has that like amazing, the whole thing just, it sounded great. Great.
I just want to point out like how safe and how fucking cowardly your choices are. Because no one's gonna argue with that.
Yeah,
it's like,
I know.
Oh, God of War.
I love the
choice.
Zeke, at the beginning of this. Now we're all picking our favorites. So just keep that in mind. Your own voices. You are a coward for picking
Zeke,
that. You
look,
understand?
last year. All right, Zeke. Last year I was the
Best
biggest.
female lead, God of War.
I had the best.
Best female lead, God of War.
Yeah, I had the biggest balls on me last year with getting over it as my game of the year. So I had to reel it back in. I had to win the people back over again this year, Zeke. All right, so that's why God of War. Also, the chat crying with the snake. The snake might actually be like my favorite noise in any video game this year. When you get the fucking giant snake on the river, it just.
But I'll tell you, someone who's fucked around with like voice effects and shit like that, it was awesome and impressive and shit like that. But I was like, if given enough time, I could probably duplicate that.
Sure, but they put in.
It's like as an audio engineer, I could replicate that. Just give me a few minutes in my studio.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Yes, but maybe it's because you weren't. I don't know. Maybe it's because I wasn't expecting it, or maybe because it fits such just like a monstrous creature with that snake. But the second that he started, quote, talking, I was just like, oh my fucking god! Like, gee, I need a bass speaker right now so I could hear this fucking shit how it's supposed to be heard. So that was that's my favorite sound design of the year.
No, dude, no argument. Solid choice. Fucking solid choice.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And I think I should reiterate again, the reason why I picked the ones that I did for both music and sound design is not because anything else was worse or whatever. It's just I picked it based on how much it enhanced the game itself and how big of a role it played in the game.
Sure, that's valid.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, that's our favorite sound design of 2018. We move now on to favorite art style. I'll start us off here.
I'm wondering if we're gonna have some overlap here.
I don't think I'll have.
We haven't had any overlap yet, have we?
No, actually, we have not. This could potentially be it. I could totally. I think if anyone has overlap, it's the two of you. But I'll let you guys talk about that.
Yeah.
For me, this is a game that, again, it was the first game that came to mind, and I don't know if I don't think a lot of people agree with me. But where Zeke felt the music was this game, the other half of this game was the visualization that was happening in front of you. Tetris Effect had the best. Zeke talked about the fucking guys bowing, or how every level had an aesthetic to it, a feel to it, and it nailed and accompanied the music that you were seeing in front of you to the T. And it's fucking crazy that I'm talking about a Tetris game doing that in 2018.
Yeah.
I was
do
totally
not blame you for that choice.
Yeah. What was that code?
I was expecting you to say all of that and then be like, my game was God of War.
It was this was the one where I was like, Tetris without the art. I mean, I guess without the art, God of War doesn't exist as well. But for me, it was the game that they just came to mind first. Play Tetris Effect if you have PlayStation VR. They were on sale. They might even be on sale now, or at 200 or 300, whatever they're priced at, for good. It's probably the first VR thing that I can actually say like it's worth it. The games that are out right now for PlayStation VR are good and they're varied and there's a lot of them. So I would say check it out and don't play Resident Evil 7 at all. That's a bad game.
Not to get too Burning Man on it, but Tetris Effect kind of reminds me of watching like a really good group of fire spinners in like a stark black sky.
Yeah.
Like nothing on behind them, but like you got a group of like people spinning fire and dancing and shit. It's
mesmerizing, man.
Such a joy to watch. And yeah, you're just sitting there like slack-jawed, like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Drug-free.
That's mostly the drugs. Yeah.
Yeah. Drugs. Co. Or wait, no, it's Zeke. Zeke's going to the moment. We'll let Co go last here. Zeke, what was your favorite art? And this is the one, like I said, where I think you guys.
I think this will be our first overlap.
Yeah, you might have some overlap here.
Nope.
Uh-oh. Zeke?
Nope. A lot of people, like, I've seen it in chat and all that kind of stuff. Once again, what was my favorite? What did I think that I remember the most? When I think of, like, what had the best visual, stunning awesomeness that I just couldn't get enough of? Favorite art style? God of War.
Okay.
God of War, man. I am a sucker for big monsters. Love it. Love big monsters. Huge world serpents. enemy design, the fucking majesty of it. It's like, seriously. And I know there's a lot of like really artsy fartsy choices. Like I had Grease as my honorable mention for art style. I couldn't pick it though. It's awesome. Yes, it's newish. It's innovative, sure, maybe. But what visually a feast for the eyes every time I turn the fucking game on.
Yeah.
God of War crushed everything.
I gotta
Just the scale,
coward.
the scope.
Yeah,
the
I gotta say
colors.
that's a real cowardly pick there, Zeke.
Yeah.
Of all things, you could,
No, I said that knowing that that shit was coming up. Like, that's why I said that, because I knew, I was like, I picked God of War for something else, so it's coming.
I like that we flip flopped on that. I love that we flipped. That's great. That makes me
Absolutely.
happy.
No, but there's obviously there's other games. There's Grease, there's Oberdeen, there's, you know, all kinds of games that visually took chances, but this one, it didn't take chances. It just fucking nailed it, what it was going for. There was no risk, all reward.
Makes
That's
sense.
why God of War is my favorite.
All right,
Absolutely.
Cole, let's talk about God of War, your favorite art style of the year. There's going to be some overlap
I'm
here, right?
kind of surprised because I was joking when I thought I'd say there'd be overlap because and now no, I'm just kidding. So the game that I picked is literally it's a painting. Funny enough, the gameplay didn't keep me going, but some of the art did. It felt the entire time that I was playing it that I almost just wanted to keep playing it to see what else there was. And I completely understand where Zeke came from, but I gotta say, I thought it took the cake. My favorite art style was Grease,
Nice.
which is Grease. What the shit?
That's not right. Get it away. Take it away. All right. Well, that's one, Daniel. That's one. It's Yakuza. Kiwami 2.
What's art style in that?
I don't know. Maybe you like the tattoos or something. No, we'll just
wonder
leave
what
that.
happened there.
Else mine is gonna be wrong. Oh Jesus!
I said I didn't look over these because I didn't want to be
You did
spoiled.
get the updated list, right? You gave him that updated list that I sent.
Yes, I did send that to him. Is this what you had originally?
Okay.
Because if so, that would make sense
I
that it
don't
went off the old list.
think so. Not for art style. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Kiwami too, but I don't think the art was what it would have.
I just like the reveal here of Yakuza Kiwami 2. No, that's not right. It's Grease. Just put a
Yeah,
here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do.
Grease. But yeah, no, Grease was definitely the game that stood out. It was really, really pretty. The animations especially were like handcrafted and beautiful. The ending especially was very impactful. Which is very impressive considering there's like almost no dialogue. What's kind of interesting is halfway through the game, I remember Zeke saying like, I want to watch you guys play the ending because what's coming up. And halfway through the game, I'm going, dude, there's barely even a story here. Like how could this possibly make me feel anything by the end of it? I mean, I'm enjoying playing it. I'm loving the art and I'm enjoying the journey, but I didn't see how it could have been an emotional thing. Sure enough, I got through the end and you know, I'm just sitting there staring at it. And at one point my jaw drops a little bit and I'm just like wow. You know, I mean, it's like, it really is the same as looking at like a really beautiful painting for the first time where you're just like, whoa. And that's, I mean, it was great. It was great. So
I need to play this.
Surprisingly, because I normally go for a bit more like 3D effect kind of stuff, like really well crafted, like 3D worlds that are realistic. This took it for me, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
sure.
I need to play this.
No, I even when I submitted it, I put honorable mention because I wasn't sure if that part would get in because you have to mention this, but we're talking favorite, not best or most innovative or whatever. Because I'm not qualified to say what's best or most innovative. I can just say what's my favorite. This definitely was an honorable mention. I could not agree more, man. It's such a wonderful combination of sight and sound. By the end, with the score and the visuals, and that last like 20 minutes, is so powerful and moving.
And the big thing for me,
definitely tier 2.
oh, I completely understand. And the big thing for me that was a real flip flop from normal things like this. I actually wasn't a huge fan of the gameplay, and it's one of the first times in recent memory that a game's artwork has carried me through parts that I have found not as fun or enjoyable. Like there's definitely like some walking simulator parts of the game where you're just holding left or right for minutes at a time. And for those times, I of course wasn't really enjoying just doing that, but I was just staring at the screen and loved seeing everything uncover and develop and change. And yeah, it's a very unique game for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I need to play
Now,
it.
just quick question, because Oberdin has to be mentioned.
Yeah, that's where I thought both of you were going.
For you, Co.
What's up?
Where would it fall for you? Would Oberdin, do you think, would be second?
Was unique, but it wasn't my favorite by any means. It was an interesting look, and I liked the old school graphics and stuff, but I call it interesting and unique. Definitely not my favorite. In fact, at times I didn't like it.
Yep.
And there were some of my viewers that, I hate to say it, that said, look, Co, I'm going to wait until you play a different game because this is giving me a headache. And that's I'm not, yeah. I thought Oberdin was cool. It's very interesting, but it definitely was not one of my favorites.
I absolutely
There's a lot of other things
agree.
about Oberdin that were amazing, though, for the record. But yeah, not the art
galls
style.
me how much, or it galls me just to say how much I agree with you. I do. I absolutely agree with you. It was like, I opened up, I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. This is very interesting. And then after an hour, I was like, man, I wish there was an option to change this a little bit more because, dude, it got tough to look at.
At the end of my playthrough, I was talking to my community, and I was like, I'm really curious what it would have been like if Oberdin was a realistic, like 3D game where you actually could see them. Like, there's one part that drove me kind of crazy, and this is a slight spoiler, but due to the art style, things don't render unless you're right in front of them. So, like, at one point, I'm walking around this ship looking for clues painstakingly, and I walked by these specific clues on the sides of this bunk area like 5 times. And all you had to do was go right up to it because they wouldn't render unless you were right in front of them. But if you just back up a few feet, it's like they're empty. And that drove me crazy, man. Like that kind of stuff.
And
especially
to those of you saying, like, you can change it in the options. Not that much. You can change it, sure. You can make it look like other old PC game. Like you can make it look like what were the choices? Like an Apple IIe, like I don't remember the other ones, but there was like 3 different choices, and none of them were that much different. Like some of the hues changed, some of the pixels sort of changed, stuff like that, but it wasn't enough of a difference to really say like it changed a lot enough so I could like not
it was all still
it made it easier to watch for me or easier to play.
The whole thing, I flipped through every single option looking for a less blurry, easier to watch option, and none of them were easier than any of the others. Some of them were a lot worse than this. Like some that are like bright orange and stuff, and it's just like, But
this one ended up being the easiest one. That's why you see like most of the clips like this or for me at least, I forgot, I didn't even know this was me playing, but the green screen one ended up being the easiest to keep going with. Anyway.
Weirdly enough, I feel like I had an easier time looking at these on old school consoles than I did this one. Like I don't know if like the translation of trying to make a new game look old did something that I wasn't expecting, but I remember the games back in the day being a lot clearer than this.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's going to be a case of like virtual reality now still has this queasiness that I feel sometimes with certain games. And I think like 10 years down the road, I'm going to put like a VR helmet on. I'm like, remember when these games used to make us queasy? It's like, and they just don't anymore. Like they'll fix something. We'll forgive a lot more. We forgive a lot more when something is new.
Without explanation, which might be unfair to ask this, what's the better game, Grease or Oberdin?
Oberdin.
I'd have to agree with that.
Okay. All right.
I mean, let's be honest. Grease is a walking simulator with extremely basic platforming and very minor puzzle solving. Okay. It's more about the journey and experience. It's a journey. And I don't mean a journey as like the noun. I mean a journey like the game. It's a journey. It's a game where you're just like slowly moving through it while you're having a narrative told to you, or in this case, kind of you're being exposed to a narrative with Grease.
That makes sense.
But no,
Grease
Oberdin, dude, the gameplay of Oberdin is like, oh man, like completely unique. I mean, what do you think, Zeke?
I agree with you. Absolutely. I think Grease had potential. I think Grease, if given more time to the actual gameplay of it, it might have taken away from the story elements. Sure. Like if you added more mechanics, more difficulty, yada, 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 it might have taken away from the point of the thing, which is an emotional journey with great music and visuals. So I'm not sure like if I would change it, but as far as a game goes, the award goes to Oberdin for just gameplay.
All right.
But if Grease could have definitely been another Ori.
All right. All right. All right. And that's why Code Carnage's favorite art style is Yakuza.
You Kiwami.
Not at all.
Apologies for that. Let's move on to our favoritive. That's favoritive and narrative. Yeah. Favorite narrative story/main quest of 2018. Co, I believe you're starting us off this time.
Okay. There were more than a few great games that I played this year for the story, but there was one that had me twisting and turning the whole time. I had 5+ jaw drops throughout the story, and there were so many things about it that I just absolutely loved. And that was Yakuza Kiwami 2. Swear to God, if it says Grease.
I'm pretty sure it's been fixed, hopefully, or it's just not going to work. It's supposed to say, just keep talking. All right, we're working here.
Okay. But that game was Yakuza
redacted.
Kiwami.
Yeah.
And by the way, one small thing that I kind of want to mention to folks, and this is going to be pretty impactful. This year for me was something really special, because not only was this the year for Yakuza Kiwami 2 for me, this was the year of Yakuza for me. So I was exposed to 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2 all in the same year, basically like one giant beginning to end game. So it was pretty amazing. So for me, with Kiwami 2, when I came into this game, I knew these people. Like when I would see for the first time, it was like seeing an old friend in some cases. Like it was a real kind of adventure. So it's almost like it was a little bit weighted, because like when I started Yakuza Kiwami 2, I already had all of this backstory and narrative that I knew about these characters, and it made what happened in the game so much more impactful in some cases. So I mean, there was a few cases when you just see a character flash on the screen, and if I hadn't played the game before, I would have been like, oh, that's weird. But because I was like, oh, it's that guy, and it's like you get one of these moments that you wouldn't have had before, just because you kind of gone through this process with the other games. But yeah, for me, favorite narrative and story, even though there was some great ones this year, Yakuza Kiwami 2.
All right.
Dude, I could not agree more. This was the year of Yakuza for me as well. Like just being able to play through all the games, it was a fantastic experience all the way through. The stories are just some of the best written and voice acted scripts for main characters. I mean, I'm like setting aside like some of the sub story content. One of the scenes in 0 is one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a video game. So yeah, the Yakuza series is always knocked out of the park with that kind of shit, for sure.
And I know if the scene of what I'm thinking is, yes, couldn't agree more. Yeah. To this day, one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a game.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Period.
Oh God, I'm such a noob when it comes to this shit.
And now I'm
there. You go.
Hey, there we go. Great. Okay.
Produced. All right. Am I next? I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because Zeke.
Yep. Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm trying to think how to. The reason this game was the favorite narrative story is because I played the other 3 leading into it, and I think that really encapsulated everything with God of War. It's going to be popping up a lot, folks. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Playing the other 3 and getting into this game, like it made that scene where he's going through the river and like Athena shows up and he's going to get his fucking blades. It made that entire scene about 1 billion times better because those other games were so fresh in my mind.
Yep.
That's why I think it's my personal favorite. I don't think it's the personal or the best story of the year, but this is definitely one of those ones where it's like my personal favorite because that whole sequence where he's going to his old house and he's getting his fucking weapons, like after you pick those up, you feel like I had chills the entire time that I was just fighting, even though I was playing on the hardest difficulty and I died about twice.
Next
Listen, this,
Yeah.
guys, this is gonna be spoiler heavy. So
Oh yeah.
it's
If
the
you're
end
watching a
of the
Game
year
Hour
show. We're gonna
Totally.
talk about all the fucking games
Yeah, without a
in
doubt.
detail. So
Yeah.
if you're worried about spoilers, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, without a doubt. That should have been said at the start. Yeah, like I don't even think that the ending of God of War was a good one. I'll be the first to say that. I think it just kind of ends. Like it's not like a big it's just kind of like, oh, okay, and cool. You did that.
I thought the end was a pretty big reveal.
Well, maybe because I had it spoiled for me
The
halfway.
rest of the franchise.
Yeah, it might have been spoiled for me halfway through, so maybe that's why it wasn't as impactful for me. But for me, the big moment of the game was when he like harkens back to the other God of Wars, because you didn't know, like the entire time you're thinking like, how are they going to tie this in to the previous franchise, basically, and they absolutely nailed all of that. It was fucking phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. So that's why my favorite story of the year was God of War. Zeke, what about you?
There was a game. It's a remake of an old game, and I didn't expect to like Leisure Suit Larry as much. No, I'm just kidding. My my favorite narrative, God of War.
Really? Okay.
No
Our
shit.
first overlap.
Our first overlap.
Such a good fucking story, start to finish.
Man.
And the reason why I loved it so much is because it was such a departure from the old games. Sure, there was callbacks, there was references and stuff like that, but the feeling of it was that not of like this rage-filled, deity. It was of a father. And it touched me in a way that only my father has ever touched me. I'm kidding.
All right.
It was an easy joke. I had to make it. But no, but for real though, like the
boy.
father and son dynamic of it and how they constructed their journey through the game and the feelings every time there was like a new cutscene or a new chapter. Also, some of the best script writing, like
Sequences or whatever?
but
Yeah.
sequences. Being on the boat with, and I can't remember his name,
Atreus?
the head.
Oh, Mimir.
Yeah,
Mimir.
Mimir. Being on the boat with him and listening to his stories,
Yeah.
you would not continue. You would stop at the shore and wait for his ass to finish. It was that good of storytelling.
Yeah.
Because you were just sitting there going like, I've already made it, but I'm going to sit here until he's fucking done. Until he's done
His voice
talking.
actor was so perfect for those two.
It was great.
Like,
without a doubt.
Yeah, and it added so much depth and color and flavor to the world, to the story. It was amazing. And also, I mean, the the father-son relationship, the relationship between mother and son and stuff like that. It was just phenomenal.
To go back to the lake stuff.
Nothing was even close. Like that was not a remake. Like,
sure.
Kiwami 2.
It made the
By the way, quick thing I wanted to mention real quick. I'll be starting a non-coward gaming show. We're going to be doing that we meet Wednesdays at 1 p.m. on my channel, twitch.tv. I hope to see you guys there.
all right.
Stuck in your craw, didn't it? But that's why I said it early, because I didn't know what order we were gonna do this. But once I saw it, I was like, oh, I gotta get the digs in right now, because I'm gonna be fucking bandwagon for a couple of these fucking choices.
Sure.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. It was
Yeah. No question.
I can't, dude. I'm getting excited to see y'all's top 10 after these. Well, like we already know JP's game of the year, but Zeke's I think will be interesting at least.
Yeah. That's true. So yeah, those were our favorite story / main quest / narratives of the year. We go now to probably, I think, without a doubt, the hardest category for me. Favorite DLC / expansion, and
This is a great category.
it was only because there was there a lot of DLC / expansions this year that I just completely didn't play or forgot about.
There wasn't a lot total. No.
Okay, all right.
No, I mean there was like there was a few. Well, I mean, let's just go through the list. I mean, I'll go first.
Yeah, you're up first.
Since I went last time. I just didn't play a lot of them. Like there was like the Prey DLC. There was Destiny
Atlas.
had an expansion, that kind of shit. Atlas wasn't a DLC for Ark. But my choice was the only one I actually played and enjoyed was Fortuna.
Oh, yeah, great
Warframe. Warframe
Great
Fortuna.
choice.
Huh. That makes sense.
It was fantastic. I
makes
had a
sense.
lot of fun playing it. I didn't play many of the DLCs or expansions, but this one was like the only choice that I could make. Yes, before you answer, yes, I did a sponsored stream for Warframe. That's not why. It's on the list. It's because I actually enjoyed the new world that they gave us, or new, environments that they gave us. I love the music that fucking song, dude. It gets just stuck in your head after playing for just an hour. But it was beautiful. The new factions, all that kind of shit. I thought, and the Warframe people, like, I have no problem giving Warframe or what's it? Well, fucking, I'm blanking on the devs.
Oh, Digital Extremes.
Oh, yeah.
Digital Extremes. Thank you. I can't give Digital Extremes enough credit for what they do with Warframe and how often they update it and how solidly good since I started, because I didn't start way in the beginning. Like I started probably a little less than a year ago playing Warframe, but every single time they've updated or spoken to the community, they're always really cool. Fortuna is just another example of how good they can be.
If we did a category for best song, God of War still would have won. But Warframe Fortuna theme would have been in the top 5, and I didn't even play it. That's how good, or maybe top 3. The theme of that was
Stuck in my head for weeks.
Yeah.
I would catch myself like playing with my son, and I just out of nowhere I'd be like,
it's going to be in my head all show long now, because you started humming it when he was talking. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. It's just never gonna leave.
I can hear the pickaxe like hitting the ground.
Right.
Love
It
it.
was good. It was good. What was your favorite DLC / expansion of 2018?
my favorite DLC expansion was not, unfortunately, a very popular one. It was a very, very unique, interesting take on a game that I really enjoyed. They took some big risks with it. I played it for a good 20 hours, and I enjoyed every second of it. And by the time I was done with it, I was like, that was one of the best DLCs I've ever played. And that was Prey Mooncrash. And for those that don't know, like, Prey is an adventure game. It is a Deus Ex style, creep around, narrative focused, lots of loot and skill use everywhere. But then they come out with Mooncrash, which is essentially taking that and turning it into a roguelite with its own story, its own events, its own characters. And man, I gotta say, for those that didn't play it, like, I can't stress enough to check it out. It is so unique in terms of what it offers, and it's a huge amount of fun. But yeah, Prey Mooncrash, by far my top DLC expansion this year. Just a fantastic experience. I had a great time with it.
Makes sense.
I'm sad I never picked it up. I'm really sad because it
You
probably
should. Just give it a try sometime.
would have been in my top. Probably would have taken the top if I would have checked it out, because Prey was one of my favorite games of last year, and I didn't pick it up. I just missed it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, for those in chat saying that I did a sponsored stream with it, I actually did. It was an opposite of a sponsored stream. I did work with the developers, but it was to raise money for Astronomers Without Borders. I actually participated in an event, and we raised almost $20,000 for charity.
Boom. Suck
Nope.
on that, chat. No.
Reverse sponsored.
Yeah, Harry, you don't have to hate Coke. You can hate me for this one. I was doing favorite DLC expansion, and I was just sitting there thinking, like, what? This one's tough. I didn't play. There weren't that many expansions this year. The only expansion that I played, honestly, the only expansion that I played was this one, and I'm realizing how stupid it is to have chosen this because I have not played this game since the second week of its launching. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, Path of Exile
I was just gonna say.
had so many but
Oh, fuck, dude.
why didn't that occur to me mentally? Because the game was actually open, so I didn't miss trades while I was doing this list, and it just didn't. I
You
didn't.
have played Path of Exile more than almost any game I've ever seen you play.
I know. But the first week of Battle for Azeroth, it was so fun, and then the second week of Battle for Azeroth was so fucking bad. But it was still the best DLC / expansion that I played this year because I don't know why it didn't occur to me that Path of Exile had. Maybe because I didn't have to pay for it. I don't know. I'm trying to think about the mental gymnastics I did to just skip over Path of Exile right there.
Quick question for you, JP. What was your favorite Path of Exile expansion?
The most recent one. It's always the most recent one because it's always the best. They always fix whatever the fucking issues were with the one previous and make it that should have been another category. Yeah, I honestly would say if I was going to change any of mine, it would be this to just be Path of Exile Betrayal League, but I put Battle for Azeroth for some fucking reason. Because I had so much fun the first week. I loved launches.
Mind, it's justified. If that's
Okay,
the first thing that popped into your head, dude, more power to you.
Yeah, and the other funny thing is I hit 1,100 hours in Path of Exile this year. So there's no question in my mind that it was Path of Exile. But yeah, I don't know why I just didn't think about that. So that might be my my mulligan for 2018 was to put Path of Exile.
No, it's totally valid, man. It's totally valid that it didn't occur to you. Like I can understand why it didn't, because it didn't seem like an extension of an already ongoing game or extension of a core game. Like the core game of Path of Exile is expansions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's like that's all it is expansions.
Yeah. Let's move on to favorite fail of the year. Mine was when I actually chose Battle for Azeroth for favorite DLC / expansion on the Game of the Year show. So if you got
Favorite fail of the year, favorite disappointment, JP.
yeah, I was my own.
Oh,
I was my favorite, or my favorite fail of the year. That was my own. No, this one, I had a hard time when it came to fail / disappointment. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys chose here as well, because as Zeke said, for this one, I had no expectations. I did not care if this game succeeded or failed or anything. But when it came out, when it came out, it failed fucking hard. Like it failed so fucking hard. Like it was the biggest failure of the year. This shit is still, people were fucking going crazy because they didn't get a canvas bag. All right, there were riots, there were deaths, threats. Like it was insane. So Fallout 76 is the biggest fail of the year. I'm not going to explain any more than that. It just was.
No, you have the right of it. Disappointment means you had something invested into it and it let you down.
Yeah.
Or you expected something of it and it let you down. Disappointment. RDR2 for me. That's why.
Yeah.
I wanted it, didn't deliver for me personally. Fallout 76, or the fail is something you didn't expect much of and it fucking flopped horribly.
Yeah. Yeah, like the hate train on this was... The only thing that maybe got more hate than this year would be the phone thing, the Diablo Immortal thing at BlizzCon. And maybe Atlas, although Atlas was this weird thing, this like roller coaster of like, oh, I'm so fucking hyped, oh, they delayed, oh, I'm so fucking hyped, oh, they delayed, oh, I'm so fucking hyped, and it's, oh, God, it's bad.
But Atlas kind of missed the cutoff for our choices though.
Did it? Yeah, maybe so. I guess that's true.
Yeah, I put my choices in before Atlas came out.
Yeah.
Or was released.
Yeah. I could see also where...
Though, okay, listen, you know what? I'll just do mine. I'll just do mine because I think Cole has something to say.
Okay.
My favorite fail of the year, something I didn't expect to like, or not. I didn't have any expectations, but when I played it, it was spectacularly bad. It was a huge fail, and my fail of the year is Agony.
Oh, that's a good pick.
What a great one! That's a
Huge fail.
That's a good pick.
I was like, okay, let's check it out. And I played. I was like, this is garbage. It is like the worst pile of garbage shit I've ever played, and it got so much hype. I was like, it was laughably bad.
I still remember when Agony got brought up during the pre-show of Court of Swords, and you and Dan just went off on how bad this game was. Like,
It was terrible.
I've never seen Dan be
Like,
that
I saw-
negative before. It was so good.
Yeah, I saw some of the previews for it, and I was like, okay, this could be cool. It doesn't pull any punches with, like, you know, the gore and the violence, and, you know, you're in hell, blah blah blah. And then I played. I was like, this is so terrible. Oh my god! Like I was loving how bad it was. It was like, oh, let's see what bad thing happens next.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fail because I didn't expect a lot because it's a new IP. It's hard to expect something out of a new IP.
Sure. Yeah.
But it failed horribly.
There
Okay.
you go. Co, what was your favorite fail of the year?
My favorite fail of the year was well, I submitted my list late. Let me just say that. So my fail of the year for many different reasons was Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason Atlas was my fail of the year was because there's so many reasons. But the main one is, first of all, the delays were just ridiculous, especially the second to last delay where they literally announced a time with a timer on a website.
Oh god.
And then when the timer clicked up, they waited 30 minutes, didn't even mention the timer, and then put up a tweet with a new date. And it's just like, it is one of the largest middle fingers to a gaming community I've seen in years.
Yeah.
And then to then have a private server with streamers only on it. Just because of that, throughout the entire time I was playing on that server, and anyone who was watching my stream can tell you, every 15 to 30 minutes, I was like, look, do not go and buy this game. We're playing on a streaming server. This is not indicative of what's going to happen on release. It might be down for days. And what happened? The second the game came out, it was down for days, completely unplayable, like so many bugs and issues, people refunding it left and right. It was ridiculous. Now, to its credit, this is the fail of the year. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the entire product is a fail. In fact, the devs are working on it. It's gotten to a point where it's pretty good. They actually fixed a lot of the issues relatively quickly when it came out. So, you know, more power to people that are playing it now. You know, we're actually in the process of setting up a private server for our community because a lot of people in our community play it.
Yeah.
More power to them. But I'm just saying the fail was from the second they announced that first week pushback to like 3 days after release. Like there were people that were saying, there were people that were thinking for a while that this game was never going to make it.
Right.
Like that they couldn't even fix their servers. Like that it was just a complete cluster. And so, yeah, that was by far, in my opinion, the biggest fail of the year. The way they handled that release and then the little streaming thing. And it was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Man.
Didn't they like shoot themselves in the foot with like an Atlas waiting room title or something like that?
Oh, dude, they tried to meme it at times. And then what's crazy is they actually went around recently and did a big sponsored push. Like they asked, even after all my shit, they tried to pay me to play Atlas. And I straight up told, I was like, no, like, I don't feel comfortable taking this. Absolutely not. Like that, absolutely. But like, it's crazy that it's gotten to this point. And, I don't know, weird, wild situation.
It's really weird. I can't think of a game ever potentially, because we haven't talked about the whole Atlas debacle because we haven't had a show in 2 weeks, and it happened 2 weeks ago, I guess. The week that we did our last show was the week that it happened. That whole thing was just fucking crazy. Like 200,000 people were watching on Twitch, and they're like, maybe Friday. Maybe we'll put it out Friday. Sorry guys, we'll see you Friday. Like, and then for that not to be a big enough red flag, on Friday there was 150,000 people watching this. Maybe later tonight, guys. Maybe we'll put it out later tonight. We'll see you then. And then if that wasn't a big enough red, 100,000. You can play it, but we're going to take it down later, and then it's going to be down all out. Oh, my fucking God, come on. Like, what the fuck? What does it take to show you that this is bad, that you shouldn't play this on launch? I don't know what it is. I don't know if that'll ever be topped on streaming. That was a crazy thing. But we'll talk about that on next week's show probably because it needs to be talked about. In
Yeah, I've got a lot of things to say about Atlas, but we can save that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So those were our favorite fail of the years. Favorite voice acting is up next. We have how many categories do you have? Favorite voice acting, then character, then favorite multiplayer, and then most anticipated games that aren't Cyberpunk.
You never got back to me on this because I asked, like, do you want favorite voice actor, period, like one person, or favorite voice actor, like favorite voice acted game?
Right.
As
now,
a whole.
I never got back to this because I let Daniel make the decision, and there was also some interesting things with this category because you did that, and I think I did something else, and I think Co did something unique as well potentially. So I don't know how this is going to go. I might press this button and the computer might just explode. So we'll just see what happens.
No, I honestly just went with what you had on the website because the people could just pick games.
Okay.
Like the audience.
Gotcha.
Just pick games and not people. So
yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes. Co, you're up first. Your favorite voice acting.
So this was another year, kind of like with the narrative, where there were lots of games that did fantastic jobs with voice acting. Even games that I didn't particularly like. So like RDR2, God of War, even Council at times. Like there was a lot of really good voice acting in the games. However, there was one game for me that it really stood out, not only because I actually knew some of the people doing the voice acting, but every time I heard a voice, I was pretty impressed by what I heard. I didn't finish this game, but I really enjoyed everything I did in it, and I'm actually going back and playing it again, probably from the beginning, sometime this year. That game was Pathfinder Kingmaker. And even though this game doesn't have all voice acting, it's not like a Pillars of Eternity 2. The voice acting it does have, particularly like with the characters like Narissa and some of the other ones, are just really, really good. They're really good. Also, F.
What?
Small F. But anyway, I had a great time with it, and I'm still having a good time with it. The game is probably one of the best CRPGs of all time. I'm actually starting a new playthrough of it at some point this year and planning on going all the way through it. So,
wait.
Again, if
you're gonna restart 100-hour plus playthrough?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Want to know why? It's because the dev team in the last 2 months have been in absolute overdrive, and they have made so many changes that would have affected my playthrough if they weren't at the beginning. They added teleporting to the damn game. You can build teleport circles in towns and like warp between towns now and shit. And like that would have saved me 20 hours of travel time that I could have been developing towns instead.
Jesus.
So yeah, I'm gonna actually roll a new class, probably a lawful, neutral, or good scaled fist monk. Maybe even something different, maybe multi-class. I don't know. We're gonna have fun, but I'd like to do another playthrough at some point this year.
Okay. All right. Zeke, I'm just curious for my own interest. Did you ever get around to checking this out? Because I remember you were you were telling us like, oh yeah, we're gonna take a short look at Pathfinder on our channel. Me and Co were both just like, what? Like,
well, and that like it was worth. It was on my list of games. I didn't get to all the games that I wanted to check out for 2018. It was on the list, and I decided against it for a couple of reasons. One, huge, long game. Two, isometric, like Baldur's Gate style, right?
Yeah.
Not usually my thing anyway, and it has to be like super duper impressive to really even like warrant or like crack a top 10 list or something like that.
Yeah.
For me personally, so I decided against that, and I played some other games that a couple of them made a couple of different category lists.
Okay.
Or excuse me, category winners.
Right. All right. I will go next, and then Zeke will go last here. It should come as no surprise here. I played this game for, I don't know, it seemed like an eternity. And I love larger than life characters. I thought that he nailed the whole dance on the way to the town where he made the main character like doing these little parade things, and he was sitting there singing behind him. It was a character I didn't even really expect to like at all. So that's why none of that makes sense, because Christopher, there's no one else better than Christopher fucking Judge as Kratos, you dumbasses. Sylvando was actually second, though, and I almost put Sylvando as the number one here because it would have been kind of trolling.
I love Sylvando,
but also really fucking good. This guy made a singular phrase like the most memeable thing in the entire year, just because he said "boy" a certain way. It doesn't get better. That's it. I'm done. I'm the coward. It's the coward's choice. I'll take it.
No. It's definitely top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
JP, you're doing
for
a
me as
great
well.
job for somebody that hates video games.
I know.
This is good.
Yeah, this is what
Let's-
everyone.
Let's give JP some credit, okay?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
No, definitely good choice. Like the voice acting in that was fantastic. But my choice was made because the character is beloved, and you have to if you voice it wrong, people will know and people will riot because they'll be like, "This is not my Spider-Man." But Spider-Man,
All right.
definitely my favorite voice acting.
Yuri
Not
Lowenthal?
only
Or just
Yuri
everyone?
Lowenthal for sure.
Okay.
Yuri Lowenthal fucking crushed it as Spider-Man. Like with Spider Cop and all the things that he did.
Yeah.
He was my friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like they didn't make him dark or like brooding or anything like that. Like you know, people like comics have gone. He was charming. He was funny. He was like teenage-ish. Like, well, not teenage. He was like 20-ish, early 20s. And he sounded like Spider-Man to me. He was like,
Totally.
that's a tough job to ask of anybody to play a beloved character. And because you could do it wrong and people will be just super upset. I thought he nailed it. But that was my favorite voice actor of the year. But it's my favorite voice acting game as a whole.
Ensemble.
Because everybody in it fucking crushed it. It was so good. And it was a tough choice because I want to Google it right now because I want to give credit where credit's due. But Dr. Octopus, Dr. Octavius, that like the final scenes of the game,
Totally.
which I won't go into, were fucking phenomenally voice acted and scripted.
Yep.
You could go so wrong by making it cheesy or not taking it serious or, you know, making it over the top, whatever. And they fucking nailed it. It was so good.
Yeah.
And I seriously, Sable, what's his name?
What?
Did somebody put his name in the chat? Because I want to mention his name.
Oh. We'll look for it. Co, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was going to say, as somebody who was not familiar with the Spider-Man lore, like people, a lot of the people that know Spider-Man and especially Fallout, they knew all this stuff beforehand. They knew that he was going to be the bad guy and everything like this. As somebody who was pretty much lost the whole time, what amazing seeing that little progression, and even the voices change. Like when he's earlier, he's like this friendly kind of meek guy and everything's good, and then you know you hear him talking about the funding and he's getting a little more angry, and then you get towards the end and he's just like this grizzled, like you know, and it was such a huge change and difference. It was a really good job.
Yeah.
It was a really good job. And
It was
funny
honestly,
enough, because I didn't know the lore, it threw me off even more because I didn't even expect it because the voice actor. I never really like connected any dots that were right in front of me because of how well he was doing.
That's a rare position, by the way. I don't know very many people that didn't know or that I guess have never seen the Spider-Man movies or like just know.
I don't
Doc
do like
Ock.
any comics, dude. I
Yeah.
don't watch movies and I don't read comics. So a lot of this stuff is just brand new to me. It's one of the reasons when these comic book games come out now, I'm like, oh shit, like let's go.
Yeah, you're into it. You're into it. Yeah.
Did not expect to like it as much as I did. But that was
Same
one
here.
of the first things I said. One of the first things I said when I booted up the game was like, this Spider-Man is fucking amazing. He's really, and I was like, can we look up who that is?
Yeah.
Because he's doing a fucking awesome job. So William Selliers is the name of the voice actor for Dr. Octavius.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how to say it. William, it's Salyers.
Salyers. Yeah, I don't know.
Salyers.
That's a weird one.
Not sure.
Salyers. Maybe.
But yeah, everybody in it was fantastic. And like, let's not forget J. Jonah Jameson, who was the
dude.
game's
Darren DePaul nailed it. Yeah.
fucking
Who's
oh
good?
god, I can't remember his name. Infowars.
Oh,
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Yeah.
Who was the game's Alex Jones. So good.
He's
so
great.
good. Listening to him. Got a little annoying. He kept talking a lot. Like
Well,
a lot.
I think to go back to what you said about Yuri, the best way for me to tell people how good it was in terms of like the scripting and the voice acting of that was that they made a joke about Spider Cop, which was funny, and then it overstayed its welcome, And then they brought it back again, and you were laughing because they brought it back again. The fact that worked was like, all right, these guys are pretty good at what they're doing. Like they understand how to make this stuff work. So yeah, I would agree.
Yep.
I would agree. Cool. That's our favorite voice acting of 2018 there. Favorite
Great
character.
choice in that one.
Yeah, favorite character is next. Zeke, you are starting us off.
This was another one of those aha moments where I was like, oh man, there's so many fucking great characters. You know, you got Kratos, you got Spider-Man, you got all these. And then I went, oh no, my absolute favorite character. And it pains me because normally this wouldn't be something I like. My favorite character, Astrobot.
Really?
Astrobot was fucking awesome. So goddamn good. I loved Astrobot. He was verbally didn't say much, but he was the cutest, most like endearing robot baby thing. I loved him. Immediately fell in love with him. And I don't much care for cute things. He was my favorite character. And I love all the question marks. If you guys have not played Astrobot,
yeah, I need to.
This is one of those rare games. Even it doesn't. If you get VR queasy, don't worry about it. You won't get. This is very, very light on that. I cannot recommend this to any one of those rare games where I can recommend it to anybody, any age, any skill level.
Is it like Wally cute? Is that what you're getting at?
It's like you're playing a remote control Wally.
Huh?
Like you remember Wally? Remember how Wally made you feel?
Yeah.
Similar, very similar to that. Sure, I loved Kratos. I loved Spider-Man. I loved Mimir. I loved, so many other people, but like, who did I fall in love with immediately? And was just like, I love this character. Astrobot. So good.
Right. There you go.
There you go.
That's out of left field. Did not, yeah.
I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but JP said play it, and many people said play it before the end of the year, and I could not recommend it more. It's so good.
That's if we had a category for like games that I wanted to play this year but didn't, Astrobot I think would be top 2 easy for sure.
Oh, write that down.
Kiryu, Majima, like those are great. Those are great choices. Absolutely great choices. Yeah. But this just he without saying a word, you fall in love with it.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. By the way, seriously, JP, like a quick top 3 for next year. That'd be cool.
All right.
Like top 3 games you wish you streamed or wish you played.
Yeah. We'll remember it.
Like that'd be super cool.
Yeah. Who's next? Is it me or Co? I don't know. I'll go next because people already know what it is.
I'll do yours for you. Definitely Kratos. This character really shines.
It is from God of War, but it's not Kratos. For me, I think these were the characters that I didn't actually know that I wanted or didn't know that I needed in God of War, because they break up the game and just insert just a slight bit amount of comedy in an otherwise like pretty dire game, a pretty serious fucking game about like loss and just death and destruction and stuff. It's Brocker and Sindri from God of War, the 2 dwarfs. They nailed it. Anytime they were on screen, I sat there and I exhausted their dialogue trees. I went to the end of what they had to say and sometimes even had them repeat it because it was always so fun just to listen to them go back and forth. And they had like a little side story as well towards the end where they finally like became brothers again. And I was just like, oh, that's very cute. It's so sweet.
They had progression.
Yeah, they had progression.
Actual progression in the game.
Yeah. And you don't expect that for you don't expect that for NPCs that upgrade your weapons, right? Like to have like a little bit of a side thing there was cool. So yeah, that's my lazy cowardice choice is Brocker and Sindri.
It's funny. I would have guessed Mimir for you.
Mimir was good, but
that's a better choice though. That's really cool.
There was some times where I was just like, Mimir, shut the fuck up. All right, I'm on this goddamn lake. I got to go over this fucking rift.
Oh man, I never said that.
But then I was just like, wait a minute, he's telling a good story. What does this one have to say? What is he talking about here?
Before Code does his, I just want to point out, like, I put that like look at Astrobot and it says vomits from cuteness.
Yeah, he
I put
included that.
in my fucking thing, and he included it in there.
He included it. I like that. Good job, Daniel. Good job. I'm curious where Ko goes here. So Ko, who is your favorite character of 2018?
Again, as an RPG adventure game player, these categories are really tough for me because I have, in some cases 30, 40, 50, 100 plus hours with these games where I really get to know and love the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, there was one game that completely stood out, and it's just I could not do it. I could not do it. Yakuza Kiwami 2. I loved everyone in the game. They're all great. From Majima, from Kiryu, from all the people you meet, from the main characters. I loved the new badass antagonist in this game too. He was fantastic. Some excellent development from him. It's incredible how good they are at making characters in the Yakuza franchise. It's just incredible. They all are just really, really well done. If I had to pick one character, I would go with Majima. And I would go with Majima because he is one of the most inherent badasses that I've ever seen in a game. Somebody that is just so intrinsically well-aligned, good-hearted, and just a decent person, but he wraps it in this shell of just like protectionism. It's so good. And they're actually, what's crazy is all the characters in these games are so likable, but they're also so deep and they have so many different sides that you see throughout these stories. Just love it, man. Absolutely love it.
It's a good choice. I know he was echo it.
Absolutely. Definitely second, or at least second or third on my list. It was a tough choice. The Mad Dog of Shimano is one of my favorite characters, and he always delivers. Like every time he's in any of those games. Like Majima is just he's kind of an icon. He's that good. Kiryu is the brooding every man, like I'm gonna do the good thing and whatever. And Majima is like unpredictable and wonderful. So yeah, totally.
Kiryu is the responsibility to Majima's impulsiveness, and that's one of the reasons I think that they just go so well together in these games. They're like the left and right hand of a balanced person. It's fantastic. It really is.
Yeah. Well, him dancing into the arena was like the remake of it was just so fucking dope. It was so good.
Chills, man. Chills.
That would go on the top 3 or maybe top 1 game that I wish I would play but never will list right there would be the Yakuza games. I just don't think I have the patience for it. I tried playing the original. What was the first? Was it Yakuza Kiwami? Was that the first one?
The original now is Yakuza 0. You start with 0.
That's what I was started.
Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, and then I think this year at some point we're going to get remasters of 3, 4, and 5 in the US. So at that point I'll be picking back up the franchise.
Yeah, I didn't.
They are going to do 3, 4, and 5
when they do the remasters. Yeah, planning on checking them out.
Okay. Did you play all the way through RDR, JP?
No.
Okay.
I stopped.
I was gonna say if you can get through that, Yakuza would be a snap.
No, I stopped after 2 streams or maybe 3 streams. It was we'll probably we should have a category of why Red Dead isn't on any of our list. We just talk about it for 5 minutes. We should probably address that, baby. Those are our favorite characters of 2018.
Real quick, before we continue, just because there's a lot of confusion,
sure.
Kiwami 1 and 2 are remakes of Yakuza 1 and Yakuza 2. Yakuza 3 is a remaster, not a remake, because it's more recent. So we're waiting for the remasters. I don't even think they've announced the Kiwami 3. They probably never will be.
That's what. Okay, yes, good call on clearing that up, because I heard that they weren't going to do the same like Kiwami treatment, but remastering
instead of a Kiwami 3, we're getting a remaster, basically.
Okay.
Cool.
Favorite multiplayer game here. This one, I'm curious to see what because in my mind, you two don't really play too much multiplayer stuff. And so I'm curious to see where this goes. Ko, we'll start with you. Your favorite multiplayer 2018.
Okay. This game for me was one of the more fun games that I played with my community this year. I actually ended up playing it on 2 different systems, and I had a great time doing it the whole time.
Oh.
That game for me was Monster Hunter World, the very first Monster Hunter experience I had. Once we figured out the puzzle that is playing with other people properly, it became a really enjoyable experience, and we could just pull in people to play with, and we had a good time with it, and it was good. Also, as a new Monster Hunter person, I had a really good time learning all of the established mechanics, learning about the world, fighting the monsters. Like, it's just a damn good game, and it's even better playing it with people you know and like. So,
Yeah,
Monster Hunter World, my favorite multiplayer game this year. There were some other great multiplayer games, for the record, but this one for me as a first Monster Hunter was something kind of special.
You know, funny enough, this was much like the PoE debacle. This was one of those things where I played Monster Hunter 1 completely solo, so I did not even consider it mentally a multiplayer game, even though it totally is for obvious reasons. But yeah, this did not enter into the equation.
Similar for me.
Yeah. I'll go, then Zeke will close us out here on favorite multiplayer. For me, this one took a in my mind otherwise played out genre and brought it back and made me interested in it again. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout, the specific game mode of Blackout. Didn't touch anything else. Didn't touch the fucking normal multiplayer. Only played 70, 80 hours of Blackout. It made Battle Royale games fun again for me. In a year where I think Fortnite is kind of the go-to for a lot of people. Maybe not this audience that we're currently streaming to, but Blackout's the superior BR. And it was just fun. Like, I played 20 hours of console Blackout. Like, I think that speaks volumes that I was able to sit there and fucking use a PlayStation controller and play with Gassy Mexican of all people. I mean, really, like, that speaks volumes for how good the game is. So, yeah, that's my.
I mean, you might as well just glass in your eyes, right?
I know, right? It was, whew, yikes. Yeah, that's my favorite multiplayer. Zeke, what was yours?
I had a similar realization after I put mine in. Like, I put a lot of hours into Warframe, like a ton of hours in Warframe offline. However, even though it is definitely 100% a multiplayer game, it felt solo a lot because I was doing grinding with pickup groups. We were in voice chat and stuff like that. So it didn't feel as much like a group game. So it kind of like didn't register as a multiplayer game for me because there's so many hours of just being alone, being on my ship, you know, looking through shit and all this kind of stuff. So it didn't register as a multiplayer game. It might be the top, but as far as the one that I had the most fun doing this year, and maybe it's because I was able to do it with somebody, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Oh, wow. I did not expect that to show up on this show. I did not. So were you?
How long did you play it?
Yeah, I have questions about this.
I just played like with Man versus Game. Like I went over to his house. I think
that's right. You did the Men's Day
we played
cast.
it like 2 or 3 times. It's fucking fantastic. It's as good as the other Smash Brothers, and this is coming from someone who is not very good at the game.
So
it is so much fun.
Were you just one-on-oneing each other, or were you doing the like we haven't talked about Smash Bros? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We did all kinds of different modes. We did 1v1. We did like me like all versus all with like 6 or how many? I don't know how many. Like 9 is the max. Whatever. However many max characters were computer players at the top. You know, top AI whatever levels.
Yeah.
We did all that. We did some of the like overworld, light world stuff. It's just a blast. It's so much fun, and hours just fly by playing that game. Even if like just unlocking characters by playing for set amount of minutes, like every set amount of minutes, a new challenger approaches and shit like that. And there's something like 50 some odd games.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun, and it just continues to get better, and it is probably the best feeling Smash since Melee.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, and this is more specific to Smash.
And this for a novice. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
This is for a novice. This is not for someone who, you know, puts
competitive exactly.
hours into like, you know, understanding movesets.
Yeah. So as someone who's been burned thanks to, I don't know if he's still here, but DJ Wheat convinced me to buy almost every other Smash Brothers that's come out in the past couple of years. Played it for an hour and immediately regretted the decision. Is this the game? Is this the Smash where I should actually just pick it up and play like the World of Light or whatever the fuck it's called?
It's enormous, varied, and fun. Yes, there's an RPG element to the World of Light that is deep and it's maybe not deep, but it's varied enough to keep you interested, and it's long. Like there is a lot of solo content.
Okay.
If you want to do that. It's kind of surprising at how much shit there is to do with nobody else there.
Yeah, that's what I've always hated, because I had to play against other people, and I'm bad at fighting games, and I'm even worse at Smash. So I just lost interest after I fought DJ Wheat's fucking Yoshi for an hour, and it's like, well, I'm gonna uninstall this game and never play it again. So maybe I'll pick it up for the.
No,
the
there are like
purposes.
fun fights with like a bunch of people. There's versus fights. There's fight modes with different
Parameters.
variations. Like you're playing parameters. You're playing like this person is made of metal, or the floor is made of lava, and there's boss fights in it too, where you fight giant versions of things or different enemies, but they have like a boss bar as you go along, and it can get pretty fucking difficult at times.
All right, maybe I'll check it out. Well, we might bring that up next week as well and go a little bit more in depth to it. We'll do our final favorite category before we jump into before we take a break, and then we'll come back and jump into our top 5 and top 10 list. This is most anticipated game of the future, spelled incorrectly, that isn't Cyberpunk. So,
and anticipated.
yeah,
I just noticed that.
Anticipated.
You know,
Anticipated.
funny enough,
Me?
Co, I think we have you to blame for this typo, because this list was directly copied from your message in Skype in our group call, our group chat, that I then pasted the categories to Daniel. So I think this one's on Daniel for not spell checking your error, but still,
It
was your error.
Way to go, Daniel.
Yeah, way to go, Daniel. Jeez, God. Yeah, I think you're up first, Co.
Okay, so anyone that knows me already knows my answer to this. I am absolutely there. These days I can count the number of studios that I can really just get behind with whatever they do on one hand, and all of those studios have earned their place there. It's not fanboyism; they're there for reasons that they have proven over time. And right now, I am cautiously optimistic and relatively certain that there is a chance for the first time that Bethesda is going to have the mantle of first-person RPGs taken from them, and that is going to be by Obsidian with Outer Worlds.
All right.
I am so excited for this game in my Pillars of Eternity 2 shirt right here. Like I love Obsidian. I love that the fact that if something goes wrong, they do whatever they need to fix it. PoE 2 was a phenomenal example of them releasing something when they had to, but then doing nothing but work until it got to the point where it's just awesome. The DLCs for PoE 2 have been great. I'm actually doing another PoE 2 run this year, just so I can experience the DLCs, which I've heard nothing but good things about. I'm really, really hoping that this is something special and good. They've been working on this project for years behind closed doors, and as far as I'm concerned, as long as this game lives up to quality levels that they have laid out themselves, this could be Fallout New Vegas 2. And this could also be Obsidian basically being like, you know what? Like, we're back. Like, this is it. We're going to start taking our place, not as kind of like that little studio that does their CRPGs in the background. We're coming up to the forefront. So very exciting to see what they have to offer. By the way, a little bit of an interesting misconception. This is not a Microsoft game. Outer Worlds is actually funded by a Take-Two subsidiary, and it is a different. It's not the next big project from Obsidian, which, as far as I know, is actually unannounced right now. But this is a project coming before that. It was actually in production before all that stuff went through. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But it's also great to know that if this game does release with some issues, they have all the resources in the world to make it good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a good time to be an Obsidian fan.
You brought up a good point, I think, that I hadn't considered, because I'm pretty excited for this as well, just to see what they do with it. But the fact that this is not the Microsoft game that they bought Obsidian for, if they knock this out of the park, they could do some crazy shit with Microsoft behind them.
Exactly.
So that should be
Like
really
Microsoft,
cool.
when Microsoft bought Obsidian and In Exile, part of the agreements, as Brian Fargo stated in his video, which, by the way, if you have any questions about the Microsoft acquisition of either of those studios, watch Brian Fargo's video. They basically bought these companies, giving them a huge amount of money to just develop games.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no creative control issue going on. Like, the first projects they're going to be releasing are from these studios. Now, I imagine if either of them release flops, then Microsoft will come and knocking.
Yeah.
But until that time, they're on their own. So let's hope something great comes of this. And like I said, it is by far the most anticipated game I have outside of course, Cyberpunk.
Yep. Zeke, what's your most anticipated game of the future? That's
Well,
not
I
Cyberpunk.
anticipate a lot of things.
Yeah.
I anticipate tons of stuff. And honestly, Cyberpunk, yes, sure, it looks great. You didn't have to say that for me, because my most anticipated game, the game I'm waiting for, the game I don't get really hyped about upcoming games a lot of times, but not even close. And it's the future, not of 2019, of the future.
Of the future.
Because we don't know when, but Last of Us 2. Not even close.
Okay. Yeah.
Not even a fucking contest, man.
That's yeah.
Last of Us 2. The Last of Us was one of the best games I've ever played. It's probably my top 10 of all time,
Yeah.
if not top 5. But Last of Us 2 is, I'm just like, take as much time as you need, babies. I can wait. Just make sure it's like perfect before you put it out. I'm ready. Let me have it.
Yeah. That game has me worried only for the sense that there is going to be, like, I don't get too hype about stuff, but The Last of Us 2 has me like hyped to unbelievable levels. It's going to be hard to deliver on that, I think. But if anyone could do it, I'm hoping that Naughty Dog can. But we'll just have to see with that stuff. Like it. Yeah.
First one was so good, and
It was
what we've
so
seen so
fucking
far,
good, man.
what we've seen so far is pretty fucking promising. Like, I
You're
got
right.
no complaints. We haven't seen a lot, but what we have seen,
Yeah.
I'm good with.
Yeah. It's a good pick. My most anticipated game of the future should be. There's a reason that I have these sitting in my corner over here, because
Kingdom
I
farts.
can't. I just have Keyblades lying around the house. I've got Kigurumis of different Disney characters. I've got an entire cosplay that I ordered to my specifications. Kingdom Hearts 3. We're starting the year off with a banger right here, because I can't wait. I have to hit the button so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There it is. I can't wait. I also hope and really hope that people actually play it and enjoy Kingdom Hearts rather than just shitting on it. But hey, I understand it's not everyone's thing. I hope, you actually enjoy Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't think you're going to.
I am starting my Kingdom Hearts 1 run potentially like this or next week.
Yeah.
So I got emotes ready. I'm doing the full run. We'll see if we get sold on it. We'll see.
All right.
I see why that's yours, man. You've talked about that game so many times on previous shows, dude. Watching you play Kingdom Hearts 1 and watching you do the entire thing you did, it's rare that you just have that much fun on stream. Like you were just having a good time the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, dude.
It was 144 hours of just Disney pumped straight into my veins. It was great. It was good times. Zeke,
Yeah, that's right. We'll be doing Kingdom Hearts whenever my Kenshi addiction gets pulled from my veins.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
still got the Kenshi needle in my arm right now.
Zeke, you're starting your Kingdom Hearts run on Proud Mode soon, right? Isn't that aren't you doing that?
Yes. I'm actually starting it on the 30th of February, so next month. And we'll be going all year.
Nice. I can't wait. All right, that is going to do it for our non-top 10/top 5 streamed games of the year. So we're going to take a break because we've already been going 2 hours. I would suspect that we'll go at least definitely another hour, potentially 2, with how long top 10s usually takes. So we'll be right back.
Love the choices here, man.
Yeah, it was a good year. It was good. There was a lot of good stuff that came out. I'm curious to see where everything falls in the top 10 list. So we will get there right after this. We're going to take a quick break. More drop frames coming up right after this. We'll see you guys then.